And, well, it's a new setup this week,
It is.
and that's because it is the last week of the Lions. And I'm James Zugmeyer, joined by my co-host, Justin Powell. And it's not the last week ever, but it is the last week of this semester, and it's been good. We
great.
started it last semester in September. We've kept it consistent, weekly uploads for the most part. But if you noticed recently, that has not been the case over the last few weeks. And for me, I've just been busy. I'm a senior about to graduate. The workload's been there, been working jobs outside of campus. And I know you've also been busy as well.
Yeah, I've being able to cover the Battlehawks for Linden Lake has been a lot of fun. I had guard recently, hence why very minimal facial hair. Just a lot of stuff with school, trying to keep up with assignments, trying to keep up with the journalism aspect, and then on top of that, outside forces that I couldn't really control. So
Yeah, I mean, when we're busy like this, we want to actually value the athlete's time.
exactly.
And I felt like the last 2 weeks, while they were still fine, they weren't our best shows.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that was on me. First, I'm hard on myself. I think it was on me, but overall, the shows were okay. They're just not to where we want them, and we're not going to keep forcing them out if we're busy.
I'll say this: the athletes themselves were great.
Oh yeah, they were awesome.
Great answers. Had great conversations with them before the camera went on. Had great conversations with them even while the camera was on. In no way, shape, or form are the shows rough because of anything with the athlete. The athletes are amazing. But those last couple weeks, we would go into the studio and we're just man, we are not as prepared as we were last semester whenever we had some of our first athletes on, or even the football episode where we prepped that for 2 weeks. So
Yeah, it was just a lot of last second stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at right now. But man, there's no reason to go out sad. Let's go out and appreciate
No.
what we've done.
Exactly.
We've built something here that hopefully we can pass on to the next group of students that's coming into the comm program. This year, 21 episodes of the Lions Den, almost weekly. Of course, we missed some stuff over break, and there were a few weeks here or there where we couldn't do stuff because of surgery, because of travel, and things like that, which I think we made up for pretty well with some extra content.
that thing's
Over 1,000 total views, 18 athletes interviewed, and then a trip to Arkansas.
which kind of like how we're saying we didn't have a show, but that trip to Arkansas, you got 3 interviews with 3 separate baseball players going into that series. So, I mean, even if we didn't have a full-fledged Lions Den episode, we had 3 mini episodes there for you guys for that trip for Arkansas. So we were still wanting to keep doing this for everyone here.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even include the social media views.
Yeah.
These are YouTube views. Our social media stuff, I mean, both of us gained a bunch of followers.
Yes.
I have a billion likes, people voting on all the polls every single week. The reels when we could get them out, which was hard because, I mean, getting the show out by itself was difficult.
Yeah.
Didn't find any time to edit reels. But those did really well on Instagram as well. So I think we did a good job getting content out this year. And I hope all the athletes and all the teams appreciated that. And now we just want to give back. We want to thank everybody who made this possible, starting with the people outside of the teams and the athletes.
So most importantly, we do want to thank athletics. Got to work with them pretty well in the first semester. In the second semester, we worked a lot more deeply, a lot more together. So, and they helped us grow as much as we were kind of interviewing these athletes. So thank you very much to athletics. We appreciate your time and your patience with us. We do appreciate it. Andrew Malines? Is that? I always said Andrew Millions because Millions.
It's Malines.
Andrew
And you
Millions.
know he likes to have his name pronounced correctly. I've seen it. When people mispronounce, he's like, come on, I am literally your advisor. Or the head of
Fair
the
enough.
program.
Andrew Malines, we would not be able to do this show or be able to even post this stuff without the Tower Studio. Now, granted, this is not the Tower. However, the whole show, every bit of it is in the Tower. So thank you very much to him for even allowing us the venue to be able to do something like this. But that being said, that's the radio station that he helped bring up. But the radio station itself, KCLC, Chad Breesacker for helping us with any sort of technical issue throughout the semesters, throughout the year, really. He is the radio guru down here. And this show would not have been possible, especially with how sometimes our recordings would be a little crunchy. Is it the best way to
Recording
describe it?
studios go down.
Yeah.
Stuff's not logged in, so he'd have to come back in and fix it. And I think he did a really good job doing that.
And then I think last but certainly not least, before we get into like hyper specific thank yous here, but another sort of behind the scenes thank you that we want to do is Morgan Butler. She allowed us to upload a lot of this stuff to the Roar Network YouTube channel, which is where we have gotten some of our views, which is where people are able to watch this after the fact. It's where you're going to be able to watch this. But this would not be possible without Morgan Butler. So thank you very much for trusting us with the Roar Network and allowing us to put content on there to help sort of, I guess, boost the YouTube channel there.
I think that's been one of the biggest improvements this year. It's super underrated. Is that in the past, I would have to send an email to somebody else and send all the footage, and then they would have to find free time to upload it onto the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
This year, with the fact that they're starting to let students do a little bit more, there's more trust in the students. Now that we're able to upload straight to the Roar Network and get it done like the night of or the next morning, makes a huge difference in the relevancy of what we're talking about and just the overall content that we've created. So huge shout out to Morgan for trusting me to be able to go and log in and not screw up the entire YouTube channel or make Lindenwood look stupid on the internet. But now we want to give thanks to the sports. These sports are like, you have to look at the coaches and everybody else. They have to allow these players to go on.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, they've been really appreciative. They followed a bunch of us back. We have a bunch of coaches following us.
Oh, yeah. And before we start into the thank yous, you got to bear in mind, we have asked for some of their best players on each of these teams. Like, we swung for the fence on just about every single one of these teams. And the fact that we've gotten so many high-profile athletes here at Lindenwood on the show is a testament to these coaches being willing to work with our communications program. So, yeah, we want to thank those teams.
And those teams are women's volleyball, men's soccer, football, women's rugby, men's ice hockey, women's soccer, women's basketball, women's ice hockey, baseball, men's volleyball, women's bowling, personal favorite of mine.
Yeah.
Men's rugby, also another personal favorite of mine.
I was about to say, there you go, that's that one.
And then softball, archery, and shotgun in that order. That's how we had them all throughout the year, and they were all wonderful to work with. So thank you to all those coaches and all those players. But the athletes themselves, Justin, I'll let you give the rundown on that.
I was about to say, we talked about all these teams. They're not, the team doesn't come into the studio themselves, and we were asking them to essentially sacrifice a good chunk of their Tuesday evening. Now, it was only 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour long, and some of these interviews lasted quite a while, which was great. Mm-hmm. No matter if they were long or short, great interviews. But these were the athletes that actually took the time out of their busy schedules, out of their lives to come in, and we just want to shout them out real quick. Starting from, when we were last semester to now, Autumn Bax, Ethan Blake, Darren Fugit, Helena DeBlay, Amy Bryce, Gio Morno, Carolyn Ritter, Alicia Jones, Milos Nenadic, Molly Henderson, Will Geary, Zach Solomon, Izzy Fletcher, Mark Barber, Anna Sanders, Lawson Viet, Ashton Probus, and Jacob Diller. I mean, and some of those were double episodes, like Helena and Amy, both women's rugby. So we were able to do a double episode there. Lawson Viet and Ashton, they were both archery, so we were able to get two on the same episode. So we want to thank every single one of these because, I mean, they're students just like us, and they have friends they want to go hang out with or time to relax outside of their sports, but they took time to do our show, and we really appreciate that.
Because, they're D1 athletes. I mean,
exactly.
You're practicing, you're working out all the time. Then you have your majors, which, I mean, some of these people are, like, legitimate geniuses. After you heard, like, Nenadic and what he's going into, like, robotics? And all this, like, and you had time to be a D1 athlete and figure that out and then come on our show and one of our longer interviews as well. Like, you have guys like that and all these athletes that just had to take time to go on some random people's show that they'd never met, and they dealt with it professionally. We really do appreciate them. Now, the show is over for this year, but we would like this to come back next year. Yeah. Problem, I graduate. You are going into something completely different.
So
we've got to find someone to fill it. And I'll let you say what you're going to say, and then afterwards, we got to promote the heck out of this thing.
So yeah, I will not be continuing the show next semester purely because I want to get back into the writing aspect of stuff. As I kind of mentioned towards the beginning of the episode, I've been able to cover the Battlehawks. I've been able to, write a lot more this semester, and that's been great. But I want to get back into that because while James here is a broadcast major, I am a journalism major. So my whole thing is writing, and I want to kind of get to the root of that. Plus, I'm going to start getting real busy with esports, and I'm going to need time for them as well. It's going to be a mess. However, we want this show to live. This show is great. We get to advertise athletes who normally may not be able to get that advertisement, like shotgun or archery or bowling. They may not get that platform. We want to boost their platform. We want to be able to have that relationship with athletics. With that being said, let us talk to our fellow communication, majors and kind of point out some of the benefits. One, you get to learn production skills. While it's not like, big time blues production or big time like major sports production, it is still production. It is basic production skills that will allow you to build onto those bigger platforms.
And can I build on that?
Yeah, go for it.
You're not getting access to the creme de la creme equipment that every radio station is going to have. You have to do a lot of stuff yourself, which I think is the most valuable thing here. You get yourself an audio board and stuff in there, but if you want to add in the special effects, if you want to add in video, you actually have to find ways to make it work yourself. And I found that to be really valuable as my time at Lindenwood is you get a good amount of equipment, but you still have to do a lot for yourself. And I've learned a lot of skills out of doing that. So if you're interested in that, this show is the perfect place for you.
I was about to say, if you ever saw the studio and ever saw what it looked like near the soundboard, we never showed it on camera, but if you ever saw what the soundboard looked like, there's a stream deck, there's multiple cameras all looped around the place behind the mics, the wires, and it looked really, really odd, and it looked real complicated, which kind of, but not really. But a lot of those sound effects came off of the stream deck that you would plug in the laptop and everything like that. So it allows you to be able to learn that stuff on your own and bring that into an employer in the future and be like, hey, you have all that fancy equipment. I learned how to do it on my own to where I don't really need to rely on that. And they're going to look a lot more favorably on you for that one.
Now I'll talk about the next one. This is a big one. If you're taking production, if you're a comm student, you're going to end up taking some radio classes and you're going to need hours. And if you're doing this or you're taking podcast production, that's another one. This counts as a broadcast. This counts as a live radio show. So you're getting your hours in, which is something that everybody else struggles to do. They come in, they rush a show. You can be the best show in the class as long as you put effort in, and you're going to get your hours taken care of, no problem.
I will say that's exactly what I did last semester. I had radio production with Alex Ferrario, and I asked him, I was like, hey, there's these 10 radio hours that I need to do. I already have a show going into this semester. Can I use these? Now, obviously, case-by-case basis. However, he counted them for me because it is a radio show. It is a radio show that you put your time and your effort and the research and all that into, and you go and you could record it to where you can post it like a podcast, and you do it live over the airwaves. Which, let me go ahead and actually loop that into my next point, is the research. It helps you understand these statistics better. Let me tell you, last semester with volleyball, I was rough with stats. James here could attest to that.
Yeah.
Real hardcore. But now there's very few times where he has to correct me on some stuff, which obviously he still has to correct me sometimes. He's a lot more knowledgeable on it, but he's done it a little bit longer than me. But you grow with that knowledge. It allows you to research these players, research the team themselves. Because while, we do talk about the athlete and we ask the athlete questions about their background or how they performed or how, the expectations from the coach and themselves and stuff like that, we talk about the teams after all that. After the interview's done, we still are on the air for like another 30 to 45 minutes talking about team stats and individualistic stats throughout games and the games themselves. So it helps with that research. It helps build rundown skills to where you can, express that.
Yeah, I would say this year I learned a lot about lacrosse.
Yeah.
Learned a lot about those stats. Volleyball, I understood it partially, but after really learning some of those stats and then doing the main media broadcast, was really able to understand the sport in a much better way. And I'm happy that I got to learn all of that because now I can watch any of these sports and find them enjoyable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually getting better now at learning new sports. The other night, I was watching the AFL in Australia.
Yeah.
Not sure if you ever watched that. It's like a soccer or rugby hybrid. But because I had watched all these sports, I was able to figure out the rules so much quicker to the point where we actually put money on the game and won.
Nice.
We actually, like, first time ever watching, we live bet the spread and we won. We won $3. But
Hey, $3 is $3. Broke college kids.
Yeah. It's because we actually cashed out a parlay earlier in the evening. But anyways, real level content. That is what this is. The content that you produce here, depending on how well you do it, how much effort you put in, this can go on your reel that you want to send to people like 101 ESPN or any radio station around here. Or if you want to go into news or video, if you do work on this show, there's going to be something that you can put on a professional resume or reel. And I think that's super valuable. And that's another reason why I should do this show.
I will say, if you do want to put it on a reel, you may not want to show up like how I show up with a hoodie and jeans every day. Might want to put on a polo, maybe some nice pants. Don't show up in a suit and tie because it's going to be really weird if you're just sitting in a radio station doing suit and tie talking sports. It sounds a little,
I don't think it's ever
odd, but I mean, a golf shirt. Why not? Throw on a golf shirt and wear a pair of jeans with no holes. And there you go. There's your real content for radio.
All right, let's knock out these next few here. These are important, but we are going to just start blasting through them. You get to grow your social media. This year, we posted a lot of social media content in the second semester, like polls, promos, things of that nature. And all of a sudden, I've got more followers than I'm following. That was not the case. That wasn't even close before the semester started. I got people on campus that know me strictly off this show. I've heard from people that they're watching our show just to know what's going on with some of these sports. Some of my sister's friends that go here. That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that means that our show genuinely made an impact. So if you want to, make an impact on this campus or get known or get followers or meet good people, this show's the place for you.
Oh, yeah. And talking about growing your social media, that gives you connections with athletes. It does. You get to talk to them through, obviously through the interview and all that, but you actually get to meet these people and sort of humanize the athlete that, we all see on the posters around campus or whatever. You get to build these genuine connections with them to where maybe you have them back on the show later on this semester, and it's like you're talking like friends.
Yeah. And then to talk like friends, you got to learn how to interview people. Yeah. That is something that has been indispensable. I think that's so important across any of these majors. If you know how to talk to people, that's super valuable going into a profession. And I'll say, some of our professors that don't really do media stuff anymore, when we have people come in to our comm seminar, they have to know how to interview them. And the fact that they learn those skills at different levels, that's super important. And on this show, you are directly interviewing an athlete every single week. And depending on how much effort you put into the show, it can either go really good or really bad. But if you put effort in more often than not, you're going to get better over the course of the semester. You're going to have good shows. You're going to have good content for your reels. You're going to learn how to communicate better. And you're going to grow as a broadcaster and as a person.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, while our time is done with the Lions Den, the Lions Den itself is not going away.
I hope not.
I hope not.
Better not.
We are more than willing to work with whoever comes next because we want the show to continue. We want to give the athlete a platform. We want to give future communicators the platform because while James is graduating, I mean, I'm pushing 25. I'm pushing 25, and while it's great that I get to learn and do all this stuff, it's easier for, it might be a little bit better if somebody, a little younger and a little bit more longevity can actually come in and talk about these sports than me.
Hey, I'll take if 2 seniors want to take it next year and pass it on from there. I'll take that too. We have all the files. Everything will be sent to you. We'll try to figure out workarounds for equipment because all the webcams and the Stream Deck have been mine.
Yeah.
We have stuff to rent out across this campus. So I think that's kind of it, man.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's been a good semester. It's been a good year. We've had some really good shows, had some really cool opportunities. But man, it just kind of feels weird to be done with this show. It started last year as a simple, let's get a coach on. And we were setting up in Evans. And that whole setup was jank. The effort was not put in by me and my co-host, but we got it done. And this year we said, let's take it to the next level. I think we did that.
Yeah. I mean, I know we put a pause on our other show and we're like, we need to do Lion's Den. And over the course of the semester, we have grown the Lion's Den into something that I genuinely I brag about to other people because it's been a really cool experience. And I want somebody else to take this over. I want this to keep going. Not just because, if it keeps going, I can say I was one of the OGs. No, that'd be kind of cool, but no, it's too cool of a show and it's too great of an opportunity for it not to continue for the next set of students. So I think that's kind of where I'm going to leave it off on that one.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm James. That's Justin. And thank you for watching The Lion's Den.